Susie of Trauma Informed Parent. I'm here today to talk about trauma informed yoga. And I have with me a trauma informed yoga teacher, Aline Marie, who is the founder and the director of the Newtown Yoga Center in Newtown, Connecticut. Thank you, Aline, for joining me today.
Hello.
It's my pleasure to have Aline with me, and I want to get right to it. What differentiates trauma-informed yoga or trauma-informed yoga practice from a regular yoga practice?
So a trauma-informed yoga practice is going to have a little bit of different language coming from the instructor. It's going to be more invitational. It's going to be more proprioceptive. Where are you in space and time? What is your body doing? It's going to be more introspective in terms of giving each student a chance to feel what's happening emotionally or the mental processes in the moment. And then it's going to be a little more introspective, which is all about self-regulation. Am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Am I tired? Do I need to rest? Anyone who's had any kind of traumatic experience, whether they're young or old, everything in between, we lose the opportunity and the ability sometimes to feel what's actually going on. That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Is that what is meant by somatic?
Yes. So the word soma means the body. So a somatic practice is a practice of really tuning into the body to find what's going on. What is happening inside of me? Am I upset? Am I not upset? Do I need to speak? Do I need to rest? Am I thirsty? Things like that.
I remember once we talked and you had mentioned introception.
Yeah, introception. And I learned that actually from Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. I had taken some workshops with him and then read his book, The Body Keeps the Score, which is amazing. Plug for Dr. van der Kolk. So introception is fascinating. And introception is the art of self-regulation. Introception is, when you're in a conversation and you can feel your stomach tightening and you can feel the jaw clenching. And the next facet of introception would be figuring out, well, what do you do about it? And that's where that self-regulation comes in of, I'm uncomfortable, what can I do? I can act on that and have what's called self-agency or agency. And I can learn, okay, well, I can take a deeper breath and I can self-soothe, or I can dig my toes a little bit into the ground and really feel where I am in space and time. Things like that, just being able to check in deeper.
So how could a trauma-informed yoga practice be beneficial for children specifically?
For children specifically, children are completely in their bodies. They're just feeling little energetic creatures. They're amazing. And they don't necessarily have the language that we have as adults for being able to describe what's going on inside of them. Like anxiety might show up as like, I have a stomach ache. And so when we give them an opportunity to feel into their bodies and say, okay, what's happening? Can you feel your toes in the ground? Can you feel the temperature of the air on your skin? Are you breathing? Can you take a deep breath? We give them that opportunity to say, okay, where am I? What's happening right now? Because they're in imagination and they have a hard time, telling time. Is what's scaring me happening now? Did it happen in the past? Is something happening now that's reminding me of the past? They don't necessarily have the ability to be able to tell us that.
Yes, they have the feelings, but not the cognitive.
Exactly. And they don't have the tool set to know what to do with those really big feelings. And so if we give them a somatic practice and we teach them, if the body feels scared inside, what do we do? We can take a deep breath. We can wiggle toes into the ground. We can look for things around the room to focus on. Things like that.
Also, that's why talk therapy can be not helpful at best and even re-traumatizing at worst.
Yeah, well, the challenging part about talk therapy, and it absolutely has its place, is that when we go back into story, if we haven't processed the trauma, the entire body goes back into that feeling of the initial experience that was upsetting. And so it can hijack the nervous system. So there's that facet to it. The other part of it is that kids are going to want to do what's going to make them feel safe inside. And so if they don't necessarily trust the adult in front of them, they're going to say whatever they think they're supposed to say to please whoever is in front of them. And so that gets tricky. And if it's not safe to be honest about your feelings, it's not safe to be honest at all, Yeah, it's hard for little ones.
Aline has agreed to show us or give us a little mini trauma-informed yoga demo, which we're
Mhm.
going to show you now. And I'll be back to talk to Aline after the demo.
Facets. So the way that a trauma-aware yoga practice might start would be the instructor offering, find a comfortable seat on the mat, whatever that looks like to you. If you prefer to lay down, you can lay down. If you prefer to stand, you can stand. If you want to elevate your seat, you're welcome to. You don't have to sit cross-legged. You can sit in any way that feels good for your body. So we want to give ourselves lots of space to be exactly where you are and to notice what is. Right? Just being here in the moment and breathing. And so that's a very gentle yoga practice, calling in proprioception, just awareness of space, and then introspection, what's happening, inside of you, how do you feel? And then weaving in interoception, which is noticing, are you hot, are you cold, are you hungry, are you thirsty? What's happening inside of you? And so a trauma-aware yoga practice is going to weave all of those elements in together. This was just a little seated practice, but that's possible whether you're in an actual yoga asana pose or moving through different poses. It's the language that makes the practice, and then the presence of the instructor holding that space, that psychological space, the energetic space, and the heart space, to invite people that attend the practice to be authentically where they are, their head and their heart. And I'm going to say authentically and unapologetically. And if you were to gear it towards children, the language would be much simpler, but it still would have that invitational language of like, what did the texture of your pants feel like? And like, what does the texture of the floor or the yoga mat feel like? And can you feel your fingers pressing down into the earth? And then noticing that if you wanted to press your fingers, you could. And then maybe noticing that if you wanted to let your eyes move around, your eyes could move around. And if you wanted to notice sounds, you could notice sounds. And if you want to wiggle and move, you could wiggle and move. And if you want to stay still, you can stay still, right? So it's this like the power of choice, the power of, self-awareness, and then that empowerment and autonomy to know what to do. And be like, okay, you know what? I feel like I need to wiggle. And then having, an adult or a caregiver being like, okay, you need to wiggle. Let's wiggle. So the need is noticed, the need is acknowledged, and then it's addressed. And it's powerful. It's really, really powerful. And as, children grow, that ability to have what's called agency, to act on what you need to self-regulate and to feel good, that translates into young adulthood. And maybe, these are not friends that I should be hanging out with. They don't feel good. Or that maybe not be that, drinking that or taking that might not be a good choice. I don't think that's going to make me feel good. So, it translates into having more intuition and personal discernment, and then not having as many, I'm going to call them contrasting reactions or outbursts or inability to process emotion. And, little by little, it builds over time.
Thank you, Aline. That is a very valuable demonstration for parents and children. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have another question. If a parent or caregiver is looking for a trauma-informed yoga teacher for their child, what should one look for?
That's an excellent question. First thing you want to look for is the child comfortable around this person? Does this person have credentialing either with yoga experience as a teacher for more than a couple years? Do they have a trauma-aware training background? Maybe you find a unicorn and you've got a social worker who's also a yoga instructor, a yoga teacher as well. So you want somebody who understands the human spirit, the human condition, the psychology of the human spirit, and also has the technology in terms of language. You're looking for somebody who's not going to touch your child. it's not appropriate to touch somebody else's children, like full sentence, period, right? And so does this instructor have good boundaries? Are they able to connect from a, not proprioceptive, but a socio-emotional perspective? Can they get down to the child's level and meet them where they are? Are they trying to force them into something that they're not ready for? So a really good trauma-sensitive, trauma-aware teacher is going to be able to read that child's energy and know what to do and also what not to do.
Right. I would also think
Yeah.
listening to your child and how they feel around the person.
Very much so. Yeah, yeah. And if you watch them shut down, it's not the person. You know? And yeah, absolutely.
What are the long-term benefits of a trauma-informed yoga practice?
Yeah, well, for children and adults, you'll see something that's called affect regulation. And affect regulation is the ability to come down quickly from a stimulus. So with little ones, if we can teach them how to be in their body, how to feel feelings and know what to do with it from a somatic standpoint, how do you get rid of all that excess energy? How do you breathe? What kind of breathing can you do? What you're going to see over time is teaching children and adults how to self-regulate and not be hijacked by big feelings, and then have a tool set to know what to do. Okay, I'm upset inside. I'm going to take 6 breaths. And then we're going to see that translate into behavior of maybe less verbal or violent outbursts. We're going to see that as better communication skills and being able to voice and express what it is that they need in the moment, or the communication to say, you know what, I need to go give myself a break for a few moments, or I just need to lay down, or I'm just going to sit and be quiet, or whatever. And then that, and it translates into relationships, it translates into work environments, and then into the healthcare system.
Exactly. Yeah, I think if there's one way from this conversation, it's, affect regulation and encompasses and transfers over to so many domains that
oh my gosh, yeah,
how a little yoga can be worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Aline. It's
yeah, you're welcome.
Have you again. That's Aline Marie from the Newtown Yoga Center in Newtown, Connecticut. Your website is?
It's the THE NewtownYogaCenter.com.
And Aline is offering virtual classes, I believe, during this period of COVID-19.
Yeah, we are. And you can go through the Yoga Center to access that as well. So.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to have you. Wishing you well.
Yeah, honor to be here. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. This is Susie from Parent. I'll be back with some more videos soon. Thank you for tuning in and wishing you well.